Okay, so the journaling technique that helps you decide what to do in life is to ask yourself, what am I afraid of that I shouldn't be? Because if you don't know what to do, chances are there's something or some number of things that you're like afraid of that you're like, oh, I shouldn't be. For me, it was making content, it was doing stand up, like those things I was afraid of, right? But if you ask yourself this question, then it starts to point out where the growth could be rather than what you want to do. Because it's kind of hard to figure out what you want to do. Maybe there's a million things you want to do, but the things you're afraid of that you shouldn't be, that's where the real growth is, right? Because it's outside of your comfort zone. Like if you really want to grow as a person, then you have to leave your comfort zone, right? And it would feel uncomfortable because when you leave your comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable. But that's also a sign that there's growth there. Sorry, I'm in Stockholm and there's like trees. I'm at a park. But that's also a sign that that's where the growth is. So if you really don't know what to do, just start there. I had to sit down at the park. But for me, like the reason I started posting content is because I knew I was afraid of it. It wasn't because my videos were amazing. They weren't that good. They were pretty bad actually. They were my first videos, right? They're your first videos. Of course, they're not going to be good. So what you want to do is you want to find these things that you're afraid of that you shouldn't be, because why else are you afraid of it? You know what I mean? The only reason that you should be afraid of posting content is because you're afraid of people's judgment, which was the case for me. And since then, I've done stand-up comedy. I do that sometimes. I actually did it in London while I was on this Euro trip, and it did not go well, which is like the first time that it really didn't go well at like a show. But that's okay. It's okay because I learned from it. You know, I learned from putting myself out there in that way. I learned a mistake that I made in my set. Basically, the mistake was that I went on stage and I didn't really mention that I was visiting London. Like I said, I was American, but they thought I had moved to London. I didn't mention like, oh, I'm just here on vacation, which was like a key point in my act because I was like asking them a bunch of questions about London. So in their heads, they were just like, oh, shouldn't you already know this? But anyway, that was the mistake I made. But the point is, like, even though it didn't go well this one time I did stand up comedy, it was still important that I did it because I learned something, right? I learned now, okay, make sure that the audience knows who you are. Like your first joke should be some sort of indication of who you are, because when you're presenting in front of people you don't know, that's the first thing that's on their mind. Like, who is this guy, right? So that's besides the point. But the point is, when you do these things that you're uncomfortable doing, then you really grow, you learn, and that's where all of like the growth and like meaning in life is. It's outside of your comfort zone. Because if you were comfortable doing all these things, then it would start to get boring, right? When you play a video game on the easiest level, it starts to get boring because your skills improve. And when your skills improve, you need a game or a level that matches your skills. And the level that matches your skills is where your comfort zone ends. So wherever it is that you feel uncomfortable, that's where the growth is. That's the level that you need to be playing on. So if you don't know what to do with your life, start playing the game on the level that matches where your skills are. And that may be just posting a video that you don't think is very good. That's what it was for me, right? When I posted my first video, which was a comedy skit, I knew it wasn't very good, but I knew that I could just post this to get over the fear. Like that was the point. The point is not to get the viral video. The point is to become the person who can make great videos. And to become the person who can make great videos, you have to post. You can't have the fear of posting, because posting in and of itself is a skill. And you'll learn this in so many different areas in life and so many different things you want to do. There are certain things that you have to develop that's like, it's like you have to get over the fear of it. You know, that's the real skill. So if you don't know where to start becoming more courageous. And the way to become more courageous is to do things that make you fearful, because the definition of courage is to act despite your fear. If you're not fearful of something and you're able to do it, even if other people think it's brave, it's not technically courageous. What is courageous is leaving your comfort zone. And that may be just posting your first video. That may be, I don't know, taking an acting class. I don't know what it is that you want to do. But the way to be courageous is you follow the things that you're fearful of. And of course, this is not going to be easy. It's literally outside of your comfort zone, so it's going to feel uncomfortable. That's why it's called the comfort zone. But even though it won't be easy, I think it'll be worth it. Life's not easy, but it's worth it. Take care.